Lastly, we want to talk about how to apply this in a real-life situation. But first, before we do that, we have to go over, of course, how to add these and to do an infinite series addition. So for this one, for the first problem here, so the solution to that one is rather simple. So we use the property that the sum distributes. So we have the sum of 1 minus the sum k equals 1 to 10 of k squared. So this is going to equal 1 times 10 minus parentheses 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 4 squared plus 5 squared plus 6 squared plus 7 squared plus 8 squared plus 9 squared plus 10 squared. And I'm sure, since all of you have fancy adding devices, which can make the math involved here so much easier. So we have 1 to 10 of x squared. We know it's going to be 385, so it's 10 minus 385, which is negative 375. And yes, your sums can be negative. Okay. And the second part B, sum of k equals 1 to 5 of k squared minus k cubed, right? K cubed minus k squared. Yes. There's actually a much faster way to do this, but you will learn that in the next section. So the sum k cubed minus the sum and so it's 170 to do that. But if you don't believe me, right, that becomes 1 cubed plus 2 cubed plus 3 cubed plus 4 cubed plus 5 cubed minus 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 4 squared plus 5 squared. And if you can do this arithmetic really quickly, okay, 16 plus 9 is 25, 25 plus 25 is 50, 50 plus 50, 50 plus 4 is 54, plus 1 is 55. Minus, do this really quickly. So then you have 4 to the third is 64, 64 plus 4 is 68, plus 1 is 69, plus 9 is 72, plus 125. Yep. So plus 69 is 194, 190 more minus 55. Oops, sorry. I messed that up. So that's 64. That's 64 plus 8. 64 plus 8 is 72. Plus 9 is 81. Plus 1 is 82. Plus 125 is 207 minus 55, which corresponds to 2. Easy enough? Alright, so this is 1 plus 8 plus 27 plus 64 plus 125. Oops, sorry. I can't do arithmetic right now. That's okay. So 1 plus 27 is 28. 28 plus 8 is 36. 36 plus 64 is 100. 100 plus 155 is 225. 225 and 55 is, of course, 170. There you go. Easy enough. Alright. Okay. Next point is an infinite. How to find an infinite sum? So 3 over 10 to the k. Okay. The way we find an infinite sum is to find the sum of the partial sums, basically. Okay. Or sums of finite sequences, or sums of finite sequences is another way to look at it. So we kind of deduce this by induction. Right? In calculus, you'll learn the formal. In calculus, you'll learn the formal way to do this. In calculus, you'll learn the formal way to do this. It's 3, 1 over 10, plus 1 over 100, right? And plus 1 over 1000. You do not need to simplify that. Okay. And if you notice, these all vary by a factor of 3, 0.3, plus 0.03, plus 0.003. Right, if you haven't noticed, and if you add these together, you get 0.333, correct? If you add these 3 together. Once you've done that, you can approximate that as 1/3, which is approximately the sum of k equals 1 to infinity of 3 over 10 to the k. Easy enough? Okay. You should be able to do every single problem in this section. I don't really like the application in this section. I don't. You think about populations and stuff, that's not really all that interesting. Nor, for that matter, is stealing money from you. Nor is the matter stealing money from you. So you should be able to do all the problems in this section. So from this point, I will leave you with an infinite sequence to find the sum of. Okay. So I will leave you with this to find the sum of that. And if you're finally able to find the sum of that, you should be okay.